Okay, we're sanding an Ipe Brazilian walnut kitchen floor. It was installed a few months ago, and as the rest of construction continued, the floor was serviceable, but now it needs to be finished. Brazilian walnut's extremely hard, extremely dense. It's not terrible to work with, to install. It didn't splitter excessively or crack. The warnings you see about Ipe and Brazilian walnut on the web about installations like this are that you shouldn't do it. You should use pre-finished, and this is really only suitable for outdoor decking. However, they do sell it as tongue and groove, very finely milled interior flooring, and again, it installed very nicely, just like standard hardwood floor. The trick came to finishing it. Using a drum sander, as many do-it-yourselfers know, often produces unacceptable results. They're very difficult to control. They leave wide margins around the walls that have to be finished by hand. Instead, on the advice of some local woodworkers who I was privileged to meet up with, they advised me to use what's called a floor maintainer. It's a simple rotary sanding machine using a large 16-inch pad, felt back pad with abrasive discs. They come in a variety of grits, anything from extremely coarse 16 up to quite fine, over 100 grit. Just looking at it from experience, I decided the extremely coarse was not appropriate. The floor is very level. There's very little change in at the butt joints. It's quite level. It's very easy to manage. I started with 36 grit. When you first put it on, it's quite grabby. But as it gets going, it works something like this. Let's try that again. The relatively low speed of this doesn't raise a lot of dust into the air, which is nice. This stuff can be a little irritating to your nostrils. It is walnut. If you've ever worked with black walnut, you know that that'll really wreck your nose. The low speed also it doesn't appear that there are any swirl marks. Using the appropriate grip at a low speed like this on an extremely hard surface is producing practically a polished finish. Well, it will certainly be sufficient. The butt joints, after 2 passes, now feel very close to perfectly smooth. The tight rotation, the tight area makes it easy to get into corners. I don't know, this seems like it's going to be successful. I am delighted at this prospect. I so wanted this floor to turn out as beautifully as possible. It was expensive. It was about twice as much as the standard red oak, but again, in a kitchen where it's exposed to wet, and this has been exposed to wet, to oil, to grease from the stove, to water, to soap, to everything, it doesn't show a mark. Anything that appeared on the surface totally has disappeared under the sanding. So, this will, with any luck, be able to slide the appliances out, tuck into all these corners, finish this off with a higher grade screen, 100 grit or so, and apply a finish to it. The finish I have to get from the guys at the shop. I hesitate to say their name, but it is a professional level product, dries quickly. They say oil-based. Many of the sites advise water-based, but since they were dead on about this sander, I'm going to follow their advice on the finish as well. Finally, something that's going, well, you never know until it's done. It looks nice so far. Wish me luck. And here's the results 3 days later. It's nothing short of spectacular. I'm absolutely delighted. Several passes with 60 grit, I believe, and up to 100 grit screening passes. Just before applying the finish, I was advised to make one more pass with the screening because the oil will work up out of the wood as the wood is abraded and stimulated. So they put a primer, I put a sealer coat down on it, and 2 coats of a 2-part water-based finish, satin finish. It has come out gorgeous, no swirl marks. I just am delighted. On the strength of this, went out and ordered up a contemporary kitchen. It's going to be, well, cross our fingers, one step at a time. I just think we'll see what other details. This is 3 days later. It can be walked on, the finish can be walked on in, 3 hours. Well, that's all going to depend on the finish. But the water-based is what I went with on the advice of a professional floor finishing company, supplier. Gorgeous.